Are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out is out?
Yes.
But if we don't, the troops will stay.
If we don't, we'll determine at the time who's left.
And
if there are if there's American citizens left, we're going to stay till we get them all out.
Well, that didn't happen. Pure and simple. It didn't happen. Biden said it over a week ago, George Stephanopoulos program. George asked the right questions. Now Americans are stranded, and Afghan allies also stranded in Afghanistan. So the question is, how do we get them out? So here to tell us is former Assistant Secretary of Defense, a Marine combat veteran, Colonel Bing West. Colonel Bing West wrote 4 books on the subject. Bing, it's good to see you. I don't think I've interviewed you for many years on a different show and another network, but it's a pleasure to see you, sir. And
Thank you.
I've been touting your piece, Keep the Pineapple Express Rolling. Could you just make a comment? The so-called Pineapple Express, it's kind of an underground railway. I think at one point in your article you say it was modeled after the American heroine Harriet Tubman during the Civil War. What is the Pineapple Express?
Well, there were several task forces, like the Pineapple Express. There was another one called the Digital Dunkirk, etc. And these were groups of veterans, a lot of them from the Special Forces, who amazingly came together in a day or two and organized digitally in the United States to reach out to the Afghans who had served so loyally for them that were outside the gates. And they found ways of getting them to the gates. And then these volunteers went to our Special Operations Forces and our Marines that were on the ground and said, look, I have so-and-so coming in. He's going to be coming in this kind of gate. Then our Marines and Special Forces would go out and rescue them and get them in. And this is amazing, the ingenuity and the innovation. But I have to tell you, Larry, I just listened to the president, and I'm really, really concerned along these lines. On the one hand, he said, I appreciated what these volunteers did, and I'd like their help. Now, if he was serious about that, then there's a very simple way in which the president does it. The president basically sends a note to Congress and says, I have found it in the national interest of the United States to continue with this effort to get evacuees out of Kabul, out of Afghanistan, both our American citizens and those Afghans who are loyal to us. That becomes what's called a finding, and it becomes a clandestine program organized by the CIA that knows how to do this stuff in conjunction with our Special Operations Forces, and they can use these volunteers. That's one way of doing it. That's the way it should be done. But I also heard the president say, from now on, I'm leaving it to the State Department, and they're going to use diplomacy. Well, that's called ransom. And I'm afraid, Larry, that unless there's real pressure put on this president, that he's just going to turn this over to the State Department, and the volunteers and the system that's now working is just going to disintegrate.
They're going to wind up giving him money. Then this Taliban doesn't, I don't want them to have any money or any resources. Bing, they are an illegitimate operation. It's a terrorist homeland, for God's sakes. They're not going to change. We can't trust them.
If we go, we know how the United Nations, and we know how our State Department is going to do. I totally agree with you. It'll become ransom. It'll become blackmail. But we won't get those Afghans back. We may get some of our citizens back, but Larry, tens of thousands of the Afghans who are loyal to us will be murdered. The only way to get them out is to basically have a clandestine program with the CIA and our Special Operations Forces, and they've proven they can do it. So it just requires the president to make that decision. But I don't think he's going to make that decision, Larry.
I will read from your great op-ed. People should go back and read this. It's called Keeping the Pineapple Express Rolling. Bing West and also another friend of ours, Paul Wolfowitz, August 29, 2 days ago. Declaration, commonly called a finding, delivered to congressional committees with oversight of covert operations would formally authorize a clandestine program, as Colonel West has said, bringing with it resources, manpower, money, and congressional buy-in so that the CIA and others can achieve the declared objective of evacuating Americans and Afghan allies. So you couldn't be clearer on that. And then let me just read, I don't mean to embarrass you, but this is a heck of an article. Everything you write, it's funny, Pete Hegseth just said this. Your books had so much influence on this whole Afghan story. Everybody knows about them. But you're saying, regarding the so-called Pineapple Express, escapees made their way at night, sometimes through sewers, often dangerous streets, to get the appropriate entry point. Hundreds of people, many in the U.S., constructed routes point at the airport, constructed routes in real time using global positioning system, GPS, and guided those in Kabul with secure communications on signal. Former Green Beret Captain Zach Lois, the engineer for this clandestine railroad, consciously modeled his tactics for evading the Taliban on those employed by the American heroine Harriet Tubman. I just love that. This is like the, free the slaves underground in the Civil War. It's remarkable.
But notice, Larry, that the White House had nothing to do with this, and notice that the State Department had nothing to do with this. These were volunteers that came together with our Special Operations Forces and our CIA in Kabul. And now the president is saying, thanks for your help. I'm going to turn it over to the State Department. I don't think he's going to continue with this. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to require some senators from the Democratic side to say, Mr. President, we have to continue with this operation. Then it can be done. But I think of his own volition, President Biden is not going to do it.
Well, I think everybody should read your article. That's why we're insistent on having you on. We're going to have your son on in a future date. But this is very important, and I'm going to try to sell this, as will others. I think you might get some Democratic senators. I really do, Bing. I think it's a possibility. Anyway, we thank you for your service. We thank you for this great article and all that you've done down through the years, Colonel Bing West.